My name's Jeremy, and welcome to Guitar School Episode 2. Today we're going to talk about the major scale, specifically the G major scale. This is a super important scale to understand because it really defines everything that we talk about in terms of intervals in Western music. So when we talk about intervals, we're talking about a distance between notes that can either be melodic or harmonic. Melodic just means one after the other, harmonic means together. So when we're defining scales, or when we're defining chords, we're really just utilizing these ideas that we take from the major scale. Okay, so when we make this scale, we're going to follow a specific pattern of whole steps versus half steps. It's easiest to see this once on the just the E string, one string in general, before we start to move it across the string, so we can really solidify this pattern of whole steps versus half steps. So we're going to start on the G on our low E string. We're going to take that a whole step up to our A, whole step up to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, and then a whole step to F. Lastly, half step takes us back home to G, coming backwards. Half step, I'm sorry, I think I said F, but this is F sharp. Half step down to F sharp, whole step down to E, whole step down to D, whole step down to C, half step to B, whole step to A, and then a whole step takes us back to our G where we started. Okay, so again, that pattern is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. 2 wholes and a half, 3 wholes and a half. That is our major scale. So really start to get that down on one string, and then we can start to look at that across the string. So now we're going to see 2 octaves in this one position here. So our pointer finger is going to cover 2nd fret, 2nd finger is going to cover 3rd fret, 3rd finger 4th fret, and pinky on the 5th fret here. It's important to also kind of try to incorporate some technique practice while we're practicing scales. So really try to stay on your fingertips, support yourself with the thumb on the back side of the neck. Try to avoid pressing your palm into the neck, and in your right hand, try to use alternate picking down, up as we go through this scale, okay? So we're going to start on that 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of our E string. We're going to play 3rd fret, 5th fret, next string, 2nd fret, half step to our 3rd fret, 5th fret, next string, 2nd fret, whole step to our 4th, half step to our 5th fret here, and this is our first octave. Continuing on, we get our 2nd fret, 4th fret with our 3rd finger, 5th fret, next string, 3rd fret with our 2nd finger, 5th fret with our pinky, 2nd fret on the high E string with our pointer finger, and then we're back home on this G note here. So remember, we started on the 3rd fret, we're ending on the 3rd fret of our high E string. Any note we play on the low E string is going to be the same note name if we're on the same fret of the high E string. Okay? Let's come backwards now. Half step down to 2nd fret, pinky on the 5th fret of the B string, 3rd fret, G string 5th fret, 4th, 2nd, D string 5th fret, 4th, 2nd, A string 5th fret, 3rd, 2nd, and then E string 5th fret and 3rd fret here. So again, practice playing up and down that scale. Start nice and slow, whatever you can do. But try to go for evenness. And again, thinking about form and alternate picking. The earlier we get comfortable with those types of things, the better, because then we don't have to go relearning how to play, which is what I had to do. Great. So that was 2 octaves of our G major scale across the strings right here. Another good way to start looking at this now is in terms of the intervals. So we'll start by just saying a number as we play the scale. We'll work our way up to 7, and then when we get to 8, we're just going to say 1 again. So that octave, again, is the same as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Coming backwards now. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So that starts to get us to see these intervals and what they're called. But an even better way to really start to see them and to hear what they sound like a little bit more in context is to play back and forth between our root note and those intervals, okay? So we're just going to play this G note on our E string back and forth between each note of this scale now, and we're going to call out what those numbers are once again. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 6, 1, 1, 7, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 6, 1, 1, 7, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now take your time with this, but really start to kind of see and hear what these different intervals sound and look like, okay? So we covered a few things that you might have already seen before, right? We've covered that fifth interval here, which is just our power chord, right? We used that in the last lesson. We also saw that octave, which is an important one to see. We go 2 strings down and 2 frets up. So getting comfortable with those octaves can also help us to find different notes on other strings. If we're already confident with our E string and A string note, well, that can help me be confident with my D string notes. If I know what that octave shape looks like right there, I can really easily just kind of use that as a reference point. So that fifth and that octave are really important ones to start getting comfortable with right away. And then the next most important one to understand is our third interval. And this is a really powerful interval to get comfortable with because it defines major versus minor in chords or in scale qualities. So our G major scale, when we go up 1, 2, 3, this gives us what we would call a major third, 2 whole steps away. If I were to flat that note, I would call this interval a minor third or a flat third, okay? And that is 1.5 steps away. So that quality right there is going to define major versus minor in our scales, or in our chords and in our scales. So if we're looking at that from the E string to the A string, major is just 1 fret lower on the A string, and minor would be 2 frets lower on the A string. So now we could take those third intervals through our major scale and start to harmonize the major scale in thirds. And that's a powerful exercise because it tells us the chord qualities that we get in any given key. Okay, so let's start this off with our second finger on that G note, first finger on the B note of the A string, and then we're going to follow that scale up just on the E string again, and we're going to adjust the quality major versus minor in order to keep these A string notes also in that G scale, okay? So we're going to start off with a major third here on the G, whole step up, we get a minor third on the A, minor third on the B, half step here, major third on the C, whole step, major third on the D, whole step, minor third on the E, whole step, minor third on this F sharp, and lastly we're back home to our G with a major third. Coming backwards, half step down, we get a minor third, whole step down, still minor, whole step down, now we're major, whole step down, major, half step minor, whole step minor, and then we're back home on this G with our major third. And you can practice that just straight up and down the scale, or you could start to maybe mix them up a little bit. Skip up one, back one, and so on. Or you could try to just find the major ones. Just find the minor ones. Or mix them up in any way that you like and just kind of experiment around and see what sounds you like. Already we're incorporating 2 notes here, so we're getting a little bit more full sound than just dealing with a scale, right? Another cool way to start to see this is with a 10th interval or an open third. So the 10th interval, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is just another way of saying our third interval, but it's over an octave away. Okay, so if we were to call that 8, 1, right? 1, 2, 3. If we were to call 8, 8, 9, 10. Either way, we end up in the same spot, which is that B note, an octave higher than what we played before. So when we see this on our strings, we got the 3rd fret of our low E string and the 4th fret of our G string here. Same idea though, if I wanted a minor third, I just lower that note by 1 fret. And there would be like a G minor third. All right, so let's take that through our scale now. So starting on that G with the major third interval, up to A, minor third, so both these notes are on the 5th fret, E string and then the G string. Up a whole step minor, up a half step major, whole step major, whole step minor, whole step minor, and then back home at our G here. Coming backwards, half step down, both these notes on our 14th fret for minor on that F sharp, minor on the E, major on the D, major on the C, half step here, minor on the B, minor on the A, and then major on that G. So the sound is used a lot in pop music, or you might also recognize it from the song Blackbird. Right, uses a lot of those 10th intervals all around, or those open thirds, same idea, right? And it's just a really nice sound because we leave a lot of space there, but we're still giving ourselves this quality of major versus minor here. So again, if we start to understand this pattern of major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, and then major, we can start to find the chord qualities in any given key, and then we know how to maybe write a chord progression in that key. So for now, just kind of practice moving those around, see how they sound under your fingers, practice that major scale, practice having good form, staying on your fingertips and using alternate picking, and we will see you in the next lesson.